What fascinates me most is the cultural programming that accompanied this system. Look at these postcards from the same time period. These aren't just cute images. These are normalization tools. Babies growing in cabbage patches, babies being harvested from the ground, babies being delivered by storks. They were hiding the truth in plain sight, as they always do, and the programming continues to this day. The Cabbage Patch Kids dolls from the 1980s continued this tradition. Each doll came with adoption papers and a birth certificate. The creator, Xavier Roberts, claimed these dolls were born in a cabbage patch and needed to be adopted. The commercials even showed the dolls being born in a hospital-like setting, placed in rows, exactly like those incubator babies at Coney Island. This isn't coincidence. This is generational programming designed to normalize the idea of manufactured humans. Now, here's where it gets even more interesting. Modern DNA studies have completely shattered the European myth of genetic superiority that fueled their whole population replacement scheme. Remember those racist evolution charts that show black people at the primitive end and white people at the advanced end? Pure pseudoscientific garbage designed to justify their replacement agenda. The truth that geneticists have proven is that so-called African Americans who we know are American Aboriginals have the purest Homo sapiens DNA on the planet. Meanwhile, Europeans carry significant Neanderthal and Denisovan DNA, up to 4% in some populations. That's right, family. Those same people pushing the missing link and primitive man propaganda are the ones carrying the most primitive hominid DNA. Talk about projection. A landmark study published in the journal Science confirmed that the oldest human DNA found in the Americas belongs to people with genetic markers identical to those found in so-called African Americans today. But here's the kicker. Carbon dating puts these remains at over 10,000 years older than any Native American remains. But watch how quickly they suppress this information. When the University of California discovered the Luzia skull in Brazil, a clearly African-featured skull that's the oldest in the Americas, they immediately had to create a new narrative about early migrations to explain away what's obvious. We were here first. This is why they've destroyed so many archaeological sites across America. This is why they passed laws forbidding the excavation of certain mounds. This is why the Smithsonian lost thousands of giant skeletons found across America in the 1800s. And let me tell you something about that carbon dating they rely on. It's just another tool in their deception kit. Carbon dating assumes a consistent rate of carbon decay over time. But we know from ice core samples that carbon levels in the atmosphere have fluctuated dramatically, which means their whole dating system could be off by thousands of years. They're literally making up timelines to support their fictional history where Europeans are the most advanced humans despite carrying the most primitive DNA. Now let's talk about birth rates. Today, white Americans are panicking about their declining birth rates. White women in America currently have a fertility rate of about 1.7 children per woman, below the replacement rate of 2.1. But here's what they don't tell you. White Americans have always had lower birth rates than other populations. During the 19th century, when America's white population was supposedly booming naturally, white women had average fertility rates of about 4 to 5 children. Sounds high, right? But non-white women during the same period had fertility rates of 6 to 8 children. White Americans have never been able to outbreed other populations naturally. So how did whites become the demographic majority in America? Not through natural reproduction, not just through immigration, but through an engineered population replacement that included the mass production of white babies. The declining white birth rate today isn't new. It's a return to the natural pattern after the artificial baby boom created by incubators, baby farms, and orphan trains. Look at it biblically. Genesis tells us to be fruitful and multiply. The Creator designed his original people to be naturally fertile, to spread his image throughout creation. These artificial humans don't have that same divine mandate for fertility.